So let me start out by saying I am an electrician, but throughout my career, I've never dealt with anything solar. So this was all new to me. So it was a big learning curve. And I took a lot of advice from Solar Power Store Canada. And once we get inside, you'll see, like I mentioned in the last video about the wire job, but I'll explain why. It kind of looks a little bit of a mess. But when I bury the water line eventually, I want to store our batteries and inverters in the watershed, and then I'm going to wire it properly and really neat. But you know, when you order a package, you don't know the dimensions of anything, you build the space, and then you realize when it comes that, you know, one's going to sit here, one's there, then the cables all have to be the same length for the batteries, yet they're stacked on one another, and then bus bars. It's kind of a mess, but I think I have an idea of how I'm going to fix that once it goes into the watershed. So we'll go over that when that time comes. Welcome back, guys. It's a beautiful sunny day here on the homestead. Today we're going to go over the solar. And so what we have here is 30 panels wired up. They're wired up in strings of 4. The package had 32 in it, but upon delivery, 1 shattered. So I have 1 in the sea can in storage. There's 4 combiner boxes, and then 2 home runs for each inverter. Each solar panel is 455 watts, but let me take you back and I'll show you the combiner boxes. All right, it's kind of tight under here. As you can see, I have solar panels kind of covering these boxes as well. So inside the box, owie, ow, that hurt my finger. Inside the box, you can see there's a disconnect, and then they're fused, right? So each box can take 8 panels. So there's 4 boxes, but so it's 2 and 2. So 2 boxes go to, I just call it inverter A, and then 2 boxes go to inverter B. And so it's 16 and 16 gives you a total of 32. But like I said, when they delivered the panels, we had 1 break, and I only put up 30. We have 1 more in the sea can. And yeah, so that's how that is. Oh, I got snow on my chin. Yeah. let's go inside and go over the solar in there. Okay guys, so you can hear the inverters roaring. These are LV6548s, and they're bringing in about 2.3 kilowatts of power right now. And if I take you a bit closer, so there's one and there's two. So like I was saying, I ran out of space when I was installing these. I had no idea about dimensions. So these here are the fuses. So each inverter on the positive side gets fused. So starting with the inverter, the positive comes to this fuse, out of the fuse to this positive here, that joins the two inverter positives. And then out of there, a number 4 wire to this bus where all the positives from all the batteries go to. So then the same thing happens with the negative. And they sent me all this wiring, and I had no clue really how it went together because I've never done any solar ever, even as an electrician. I trusted that they gave me all the stuff that I needed and the length, but because I have a lower battery down here, if I have a 4-foot cable, well, it's definitely not gonna reach this bus with as much length left over as, let's say, this top battery. So now they do have those, so now they do have those server racks for the batteries, which then they get wired to a bus on the side of the batteries, and then from there goes to the inverter. But cost-wise, this whole setup here cost us about $25,000. And the initial package only came with 3 of these. It came with these initial 3 batteries. The new package that's out, they don't use the MPP LV6548s. It's a similar, but it's a Maple brand. I'm not exactly sure if they're comparable. I imagine they're the same type of thing, just a different brand. But they come with 4 batteries now instead of 3. So that first year, that first winter especially, we were watching our usage almost by candlelight. I'm gonna turn you guys around here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So here we got the 2 sets of wires that come from those combiner boxes outside. And then we have our positive and negative. This is just a communication cable between the 2 inverters. And then we have our feed that goes to our panel. Our panel is just a 100 amp panel, because I think that's pretty much all we need for this house. So our batteries are, you can see here, 5,120 watt hours. So basically with the 6 batteries, we have about 31 kilowatts of storage space. And in the darkest parts of winter, we have our EG4 charge inverter, which this cable goes outside to the generator, and then these just hook up to our batteries right there. So I would say being off-grid isn't impossible. It isn't that hard if you do your homework and you're willing to learn as you go. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube kind of blown up about living off-grid, and you know, some of these channels that make a lot of money off the videos they create, or they get a lot of sponsorships, you know, like free portable power stations as long as they review it in their video, or even whole solar systems, you know. But for us regular people, you know, that are working, you know, it is possible to do, as long as you're not thinking it's going to be like living a regular life. Because, you know, you got to be able to go out there in the dark when it's freezing cold to start a generator, you know, in your underwear or your Crocs like I do. But for me, I like being responsible for creating my own power and water. and knowing where it comes from. When I was in the city, I didn't care how much water I used. I had a pool and I would fill that thing up 2-3 times a summer. For all I cared, it was free water. You don't even think about it when you live in the city. But when you're off grid and you start out hauling water, you really learn how precious that is and how hard it is, because you can haul water in the north of Canada here in the summer, but what are you going to do in the winter? And we don't have fill-up stations like I've seen on YouTube. Some communities have like this giant hose that comes down. It's a huge fill-up station. It's a quarter, and this thing fills up 1,000-liter tote in 5 minutes. You know, we were going to a provincial park with a garden hose and waiting there for 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half, you know, to fill up the tote. So it took our time to do that, but I think in the end, it's all worth it. The bright side of it all is when there's a power outage, we still have power. So if you're willing to change your lifestyle and get away from all these creature comforts, then I think anything's possible. But that'll be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I'll reply. Have a good day, guys.